Hey, what's up? My name is Chris, and welcome to Coding in Public. Hope you're doing well today. Just got a short video for you today on downloading HTML as an image. We're going to use an Npm package called HTML to image to do this. Now, before we get going, let me just walk you through the HTML and the CSS to show you that it's nothing special. If you see over this way, I've got a main tag. That's everything inside here, and it all lives inside that main tag. Images, divs, paragraphs. I think I've got an SVG here in this arrow, but all this is just standard HTML. If I come over here to the CSS, I've also got CSS variables set up, but it's just basic CSS, and I've just styled this out like you would lay out a page like this. All right, so I've got all that set. I'm not going to give you that because, you're not going to want to download this image. You'll probably have your own images you want to download. Now, what we're going to do, first of all, before we do anything else, is make sure that we've got Node.js on our machine. So I'm going to go ahead and open a local terminal here. And inside here, you can just say node -- version like this, and it should show you some kind of number that you're getting back. If you don't get something back, then you can go to nodejs.org like this, and then you should be able to just download either one of these, and that should work for you. Once you install it like any other program on your machine, you should be good to go. Then what we need to do is initialize an Npm package. So I'm going to say npm init-y, which will just answer yes to all their standard questions that you typically would have to just enter through or add your own answers to. But if I come over this way, you're going to see what I've got now is not just my images folder, this index page, and the CSS. I've now got this package.json. This file will track anything we need to run this project. And so as we install Parcel here in a second, and then this npm package, this little file will keep track of that for us. All right, so we've got that. Let's go ahead and close down the sidebar, and I'm going to next come over to Parcel. Parcel is one of these next generation build tools. It's like Vite.js and some others that really specialize in basically not making you configure a bunch of stuff to use them. And so what I'm going to do is go ahead and click Get Started, and this web app is what we want. And then I'm going to go ahead, now that we've got our package.json file installed, I'm going to come in here and just add this and hit Enter. Now this is going to take just a little bit to install, so I'll be right back with you. All right, great. So that installed properly. Let's go ahead and install the one other thing we're going to need here, which is this HTML to image npm package. All links for these things will be in the description below, but I'm just going to go ahead and grab this right here, and this shouldn't take nearly as long. We should be able to watch this install together. So I've got that, and you'll notice that some things have changed in this package.json file. First of all, I've got Parcel showing in here as a dev dependency, and then I've got a dependency here of this npm package that we just installed. So the reason we're using Parcel is we need to spin up some kind of dev server that can correctly access these node module scripts. And so that's what we're doing with Parcel. So I'm going to come back over this way, and you can kind of walk through this setup yourself. I've actually done a video before on Parcel. It's a little dated, but I think it'd still be helpful. I think it's maybe 6 or 7 months old. You'll see here that it tells you you need to link up everything to a single file, in this case, the index.html file, which will be the same one we're using. And then what you're going to do is inside this package.json file, we're going to go ahead and add a script. So you can add both a build and a start script. The difference is basically the build script kind of tightens down all the screws and makes it as performant as possible. In this case, we're only going to use that start script, but I'll just add them both here, and that should work. And then what it says is that you need to point it to some kind of file. And in this case, rather than declaring every single in each Parcel command where you want it to point, they're saying just put it in a little source item like this, and then these will know to reference this. What I'm going to do is just come in here instead. I'm going to totally buck the system and just add index.html. So in other words, this is the only file I care about. It's one file in my folder. That's the only thing we've got. So I'm just going to point everything to that. So if I save that there, we should actually be good to go. And then what I'm going to do is come in here and just say npm run, and then I want to run this start script. So I'm going to say run start like that. And it should spin that up. And in just a second, we'll now see a link to localhost. If I hold down command, I should be able to click on that and open it up. All right, so we're good to go. And now we have access to this live dev server. Just to show you what that looks like if I were to come in here. The reason I set it up like this is I could come in here and change this to like blue, and it would change that to blue or red or whatever, and that's because I've set up these CSS variables here, but just to show you that that is live. Change that back, and then I'm going to come up here and let's look at this npm package. Now what this is doing is it's generating an image from a DOM node, a DOM element, using HTML5 canvas and SVGs. And it's forked from a different npm package that's several years old, And so they're going to kind of walk you through what you might want to do to set this all up. But if I come over here in ES6, which has been around for several years now, they're saying you can either install or import the entire thing and then just select the different functions you want to use, or you can just select individual functions and use it that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to grab, let's go ahead, well, first of all, let's go ahead and create a file. We'll call this app.js, and then let's go ahead and hook it up before we forget to our index.html file. So let's close this down. I'm going to come up here and say script src, and then this will be app.js, and it will be a type of module. We'll need that in order to import things. And if I save that, that should defer automatically since it's a module, so it'll load after the body. Okay, let me come back up here to the app.js, and now we're going to go ahead and do this right here. So I'm going to say import, and then rather than importing the entire thing, which they show you, the first thing is like the asterisk like that as HTML, all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and destructure just the function I'm going to need. We're just going to use the to JPEG function. And then we'll do from HTML image like that. And then I've got a little extension that shows you exactly how large it is. So not big at all, 13.6 kilobytes. All right, and then I'm going to come in here, and if you want it to be a PNG or something else like that, you can go ahead and use the examples they have for you. I'm going to do to JPEG like this, and then it's going to just walk you through how to use this function. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this. In this case, well, I'll just grab it and we'll modify it. What they're showing is just that you could have it run immediately upon page load. I don't really want that to happen because I want to actually wait till I click on it. So we'll do that. So the first thing I'm going to do then is wrap all of this in a function. We're just going to call this download thumbnail. And then I will eventually actually take in an event here because we're going to use an event listener to trigger this. And then I'm going to grab all this and just put it inside. Okay, like that. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is write a little event listener. So we're going to say document.query selector. You'll remember the thing we want to click on, the thing that's kind of the element that everything lives inside is that main tag. So I'm going to say main like that, and then we will say .add event listener, and we're going to listen for a click. And when they click, we're going to pass it download thumbnail, and it should pass along the event with that. All right, so we've got the event. Now what I want to do is just use this toJPEG, which is the function we call. We don't need all this right here because we never imported the whole thing. We just imported this single function. And then what I'm going to pass it is the e.currentTarget, which is the thing we called the event listener against. All right, and then if I were to come down here, you'll notice that they give you, if you come over here, well, I guess that's what we've got over this way too, quality 95. But what I wanted to show you is if you come down here, there are other things you can actually declare. So like a width, a height, a canvas width, all this kind of stuff. All we've got is a quality. I'm just going to leave it like that. But if you were to add additional options, what you would do is like this, and then you'd add a comma and say like width 1500 or whatever, like that. So you could add additional ones if you want to. We're not going to, so I'm just going to save it like that. All right, then what it's doing is it's saying, hey, we're going to call this function, and this is all part of the Npm package. Now it's then creating an actual anchor tag, and then it is setting the download name to my image name. Let's call this thumbnail.jpg, like that. And then it's setting the href to the data URL, which is it's getting from the function. We could change this into an arrow function if we want. We're modernizing this everywhere. All right, we could change this to a const. I don't really like using var for a lot of reasons, mainly scoping. And then it will basically click on the little a tag it's creating for you automatically. So it's basically going to create a fake element here and then click it for you. Now you can actually delete it if you want to. I guess we could come in here and say link.remove after it's done clicking it. You know, let's not mess with it too much. Let me just show you how it works. Okay, so what we're doing is we're saying whenever I click the main tag, go ahead and take that main tag and pass it to the function that I've imported here from the HTML2 image. Then what it's going to do is create a fake anchor tag on the page, set the download attribute, the href attribute, and then click the link for you, and then it's going to remove the link altogether. So if we did everything correctly, let me go ahead and save this here, and we're going to jump over this way, and I'm going to click this. Hey, look at that, and it even says thumbnail.jpg. If I click on it, it opens it up here, and you can see this is exactly what we had over on the other screen. And all of this is done just with this simple little npm package. Now the cool thing is if you wanted to customize this, you could actually put this up live somewhere, and let's say you wanted to let somebody choose the background color. Well, you could have a little slider here where they could choose the background color, or maybe you would let them actually change and edit this text here, and then maybe you wouldn't make the event listener on the image. Maybe you'd have a little button that once they were done adjusting everything, they could click it and download it. So that might be a nice way to have somebody be able to kind of generate their own custom images from your site. Maybe it's just something you would use for like social media images or something like that. That's a lot easier for you than using some kind of design software. Well, I hope this has helped to you. If you like this kind of content, subscribe. This is the kind of thing I like to do on my channel. The biggest thing you can do to help though would be to like the video and then tell other people about it. That helps spread the word. Somehow some 3,000 of you are watching, and that's astounding to me, but I'm really grateful to have so many of you along. Well, thanks so much again for watching. Happy coding. I'll catch you in the next one.